She walks it loud like a thunderstorm, debunking myths with style and form. True crime, conspiracies, her game. Melissa Jade, remember her name. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Microphone fierce like a roaring lion, unveiling secrets people been hiding. True crime queen of the digital scene, Melissa's got you hooked on her screen. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. From murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. 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 She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Allie.
Hey,
How is everybody?
I'm excited to be back with the Casey Anthony. It's been too long, but I'm glad. That's why we decided to do it. You know what I mean? So we could do it when we could, and I'm just happy that we can do it today. So
I'm so happy to be back. It's been forever since we've done this, and I remember like Tony being on the stand, but it feels like forever ago. It really does.
yeah.
Hi, Chief. And so today,
Oh, geez.
did you do that? Yeah.
There's
I
a
hate how
dollar
they
sign on my side. It's a dollar sign. I was like, "Ooh, can you super chat from StreamYard now?" And then I just
No.
hit it one time, and boom, and the
I know.
went.
They do that on purpose. Oh no, Pinjay. Actually, you do have shame for the right thing. Just no shame in calling out bees like this skank. Needs link for wax melts. Okay, I'll drop it, Melissa. It automatically drops, so I'll drop it for you. And thanks, Jack, for 4 months. MJ, would you share a hotel room with Casey Anthony at Universal or Disney? No. What kind of question is that with no context? That's like yesterday, the spaghetti taco with absolutely no context other than cheese. What am I allowed to do? Is this like no laws? I'm not bound by laws. What's going on with it? Or am I supposed to just share the bed and eat Mickey Mouse waffles in the morning with her? I have questions.
I would choose Disney because I want to eat the Disney food, even though Melissa said it's not as good as it looks in the videos you see online, like the influencers that go.
It's not as good as a broke bitch going to Disney. Now, if you can afford the drinks that smoke, Allie, like, sure. I'm sure the food is fabulous. And you know what's funny? Have you ever noticed the more expensive the food, the smaller the portions? You know, like it all of a sudden becomes like a bite-size cube of steak. But if you could afford like the drinks that smoke and fizzle, sure, I'm sure Disney is delicious. If you're going to like the taco stand, you can't find a table, like it's like serve yourself type of deal. Yeah, no, that food sucks.
Oh, dude, you didn't tell me that. You just
Yeah.
said.
Well,
But
because you watch these creators, Allie, that are like a day at Disney, and they're like, first we had like this beautiful blue aqua bowl that had a fish, a live fish swimming in it, and the blue drink is like,
yes.
smoking, and you're like, holy crap! But I want you to pay attention. There's nobody around them. That doesn't happen at Disney unless you're a rich bitch.
That is so true. It really is. Like today we had this. Oh, I was gonna ask you. I don't think I asked you when we talked about it. Have you ever? Maybe I did. The Dole Whips, like the pineapple, like ice cream stuff.
Don't talk
Have you had those?
to me. Dole Whip, like Cool Whip in fruit.
Yeah, but it's like because they have them at the grocery store too, but they're not the same. It's like a soft serve pineapple vanilla ice cream thing. Like, but it's not ice cream. It's not dairy, but it's like tastes vanilla-y too.
No, I have not.
They look the bomb. I've only had the ones at the grocery store, which don't even look the same, but they taste really good. But everybody says how good they are. So,
well, if everyone likes it, then we'll obviously like it too. I want a Dole Whip. Hold on, let me do a little search of that. Dole Whip.
yes.
Oh. No. I'm not interested in that.
What?
Sorry. No.
Why?
I don't know. I don't even like the advertising of it. Like, I don't like it's not aesthetically pleasing for me.
Like, it just looks like off-white ice cream, soft serve ice cream at Disney.
Okay. Well, is it frozen?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Well, whip me off a piece of that, Dole Cup. I wouldn't get pineapple. I guess strawberries I eat. I wouldn't get mango. And those are all the flavors I see. So it's a no for me, dog. So.
Okay, so that's the grocery store ones. But if you look at Dole Whip, look Dole Whip at Disney. Do that just real quick.
Dole Whip at Disney. And thanks, Wolfie. The Dole Whip, a popular pineapple-flavored soft-serve treat, is available at several locations within Walt Disney World and Disneyland parks. Oh, all right. It looks like jizz in a cup, but yellow. Got it.
Yeah.
Honestly, no, this looks much better than the Dole Whip one. You know what this looks like? The Jeffree Star, the Jeffree Star face cream. Remember that I got that? I said, I'm sorry, I'm never because it's jizz. It's the consistency of jizz. It's the stickiness of jizz. I'm not trying to be graphic, but it is. And I'm like, I will never get this again because I swear it's his man stuff in a jar, just packaged beautifully.
Yeah, it is packaged beautifully, but she's talking about his watermelon gel moisturizer, and they really are they're even sticky when any gel moisturizer like that when you put it on your face.
I feel like Mrs. Doubtfire when she dabs her face in that pie. Oh, hello! And, it's falling off her nose until would you like 2 sugars, 2 creams? And it just it's sticky. You have to when you take away one of those mask peelers off and you're like, oh, my face, it's all tense. That's what it is. So I will never, but I don't care how great my skin looks. I feel very inappropriate rubbing it all over my face. I'm just saying. And you have to remember, his packaging, it's a literal whip. It's a literal lasso.
Yes, it is.
So it feels all kind of I questioned everything about that order. Okay.
This took a turn.
MJ, can you do a Hank Hill impression? Say, I'll tell you what. I don't know. I know the Hills is a show. I think
they're rednecks. They have a redneck accent.
So I don't know. Do you know how to say that? I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what. I don't know if that was good or not.
And that's the one test. It's the watermelon one, which, first of all, it came in a big old beautiful watermelon thing. And then you you twist that top off, and inside it's like the size of a penny, and it's like, oh, you son of a gun, because it's such a beautiful big package, and then you open that baby up, and it's like one dollop of a daisy, $1 worth of daisy, but Jeffrey's daisy. And so I'm like, this is nonsense, but I can't complain because he has those great promotions.
Yeah, there's sales, man. It's what? I'm sorry, I don't know I can't do it. It's even
What?
What?
Would you bathe in milk? Some influencers do. I guess it depends. Milk of what? And 2, is there rose petals involved? Because I've always had a nice idea of like milky water with rose petals. So yes, but if you're talking about just like pasture milk for no benefit at all, no, I would not.
The questions you have been receiving tonight are just so unique.
I love my chat for it though. They're just as random as I am, Allie. That's
awesome.
But yeah, we got very far off, but that's okay. Yeah, no, I wouldn't literal milk, like I said, unless there was health benefits to it. Unless I'm coming out of that looking like a brand new baby out of the womb, I don't want to do
it. Baby out of the womb.
Yeah. Their skin's phenomenal. I'm not all Kim K saving breast milk to like rub on my eczema type shit. You remember that episode?
Yes.
I'm gonna steal Courtney's breast milk to rub it on my eczema. Like, that's weird. That's strange. That's suspicious.
Yeah, Courtney eating her placenta.
Yes. And that's exactly probably why I have the mental image of that, the Weed Connoisseur. Freaking American Beauty, which is a great movie. Okay.
Yeah, it is a great movie.
I'll take accountability for the crazy. It's okay. No, I did not, Natasha. No, I didn't want to see that shit. No, thank you. And welcome, Katie. Thank you for becoming a member. So here is our missing child for tonight. Our missing child is Melina Hope Marie French Myers. She has been missing since February 6, 2024 out of Guyton, Georgia. She is 8 years old. We have an associated 2 children, actually. Melina, Tristan, and Christian were last seen on February 6, 2024. They may be in the company of their mother, Kaylani French, and another juvenile male. So here is Tristan Charles Isaiah French Myers, again missing since February 6, 2024, 6 years old. And here is Christian Keith Ray French Myers, also 6 years old. So they're twins. Oh my goodness. Which makes you wonder who is the other minor associated child, that range. And here is Kaylani Ray French, 34 years old. So if you or anyone who knows information on their whereabouts, please contact Berry County Sheriff's Office at 1-269-948-4801.
Okay, sorry for the ASMR frogs and rain, but it's concerning. They've been missing since 2024, all of them together. I'm curious what the story is on that. Very
concerning. It makes you wonder. There are some of them that I stumble upon that it's like, how one of the more strange ones were I saw it was 2 missing children that, brother and sister, that originally went missing with their mom, but their mom has since been found deceased and they are just gone. That makes you go, what the hell? What?
Where's the kids? Yeah.
Right.
So I think I remember you doing that one, but yeah.
Hi, Kamisi. All right. So you guys, we are going to be starting the first half of George Anthony returning to the stand, and we'll be finishing the second half tomorrow on Allie's channel. And so George is going to be called to the stand numerous times throughout this trial. The last witness we watched was Tony, Casey's boyfriend at the time that Kaylee went missing. And so prosecution, their direct is only about 10 minutes long. And then Jose is pretty much up for the entirety for the rest. So I could only imagine how triggering this is going to get, but I'm ready if you're ready.
I'm ready, but let me say, I do think it's going to get intense, but it makes me wonder. So remember, the first time he was on the stand, there were things that they wanted to ask, they weren't able to, and because it was outside of the scope. So if it's only 10 minutes, how can it, like, the cross be so long?
That's a great question, and I'm not sure. Now, if I'm curious if the scope contains his first time up on the stand, because it's just a continuation, right? I don't know. Like, so can Jose go back to when George was first on the stand, or is his scope limited to just this portion of prosecution's direct? Thank you,
Okay,
Katie, for
well.
9 months. I look forward to these lives. It's my escape. Thank you, Katie.
Well, I guess we're about to find out. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, today we were doing a giveaway, and the number was 44. Guess a number between 1 and 100, and my hint was Melissa Jade.
44. Did they all get it when you said that?
Yeah, there was a bunch that came in after I said that.
I love it. The flaws are everywhere.
Yeah.
I know, little giggle, I know. All right, here we go. Pretty sure it's limited to the testimony, but I could be wrong. Well, like I said, it's 10 minutes of direct, and then I see Jose up for like all of it.
Over an hour, so yeah.
Thank you, name changed, for sure. Okay, all right, let's do it. I wonder, do we have closed captions? I don't know. If the audio is bad at all, just let me know.
Anthony, George, middle initial A, last name Anthony, Anthony.
Good morning, Mr. Anthony.
Good morning.
I want to
Sounds
speak
good.
to you today about the date of June 24th of 2008. On that particular date, were you home in the morning of that date?
Yes.
Now, was your schedule on that date different than on a normal workday?
Yes, I had made some plans to do a couple things around the house, meet my wife, to deposit a check, and go to a job interview later that afternoon.
So you weren't working your normal 3 to 11 shift on that day?
No, I had called the company I was presently working for and told them I needed the time off to take care of a personal matter.
Was that a day that you normally would have been working?
Yes.
So on the 24th, did you have occasion to attempt to do some yard maintenance work?
Yes, shortly after 10 o'clock in the morning, yes.
When you got up to prepare for that, what did you do?
Well, like any other time, I go to my side shed, which is on the south side of my home. And as I walked down towards the shed to open up the door, I found that the lock had been broken.
Please display for the witness. This will be State's Exhibit LJ for identification. I'll show it to counsel. No, I don't. Do you recognize this, Mr. Anthony?
Yes.
Do you recognize this to be a diagram of your home and the surrounding property, particularly the backyard?
Yes.
And do you recognize it to be a fair and accurate depiction of the layout of your house and your yard?
Yes.
All right. Would it be helpful to you in describing to the jury sort of what happened, to use this diagram to kind of explain where the shed was and various things?
Well, where I kept my lawn equipment.
Let me just stop you for a second. Would it be helpful to use this to kind of point out to the jury?
Yes.
Okay. This time you ought to move.
They need to get prior permission because those are demonstrative aids. And so there's prior permission, as you can see in motions in limine and all of these pretrial hearings that we're going through with Coburg, or anything that is used in that courtroom as like a demonstrative aid or exhibit has to get agreed on both sides. They go through back and forth. So that I kind of thought of that when even Jose was using the tape measure, all of that had to have gotten approved.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. We're watching the process right now with actually, and I saw some of it with Casey's case come up when we started this. some of the hearings that happened before her trial, trying to get stuff kept out or brought it, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's interesting. They know what's coming.
Yep. Mama Bear says, Allie, your background is perfect.
Okay, good. Sorry, you guys. Yeah.
No, are you kidding me? People pay for that type of noise when they go to sleep.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, the state should have stepped up their game, dude.
Look at this dapper gentleman in the, suspenders get me every time. Look at this dapper gentleman with the suspenders. His suspenders even have little cuffs and the matching tie. He's looking dapper.
Oh, in the back on the.
Yes.
I was looking at this young man, and I thought you were talking about the man in the first row, the young guy with the glasses.
No, not Harley's ex-boyfriend. I'm talking about the dapper gentleman to the left. He's looking on point.
Yeah, he is. I like the suspenders too.
Better than the woman who's falling asleep all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Affidavit States Exhibit LJ.
What says the defense? Basis of objection?
Prior disclosure, I don't have any. This is the first time I've seen this, Judge.
Could we approach?
Yes.
If we need to.
You may proceed. Okay. There being no objections, it will be received in evidence as states numbered.
And I'd like to publish to the jury and allow the witness to use it to explain.
You may publish it to the jury.
All right, sir. As you're going through and telling us stuff, I want you to just kind of be able to refer to the diagram, okay?
Yes.
So you said you went out to the shed, which contains your, I guess, lawn equipment.
Lawn equipment,
Okay.
yes.
Could you just, and I think you should be able to touch the screen and make a little circle, just circle which shed that is. Okay, so that's the one at the bottom right corner of the diagram.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's just orient a couple of the things here since we've got the diagram up. There's an item up on the top right that says Playhouse. What is that?
That's Kaylee's playhouse. That's that we got for her just prior to her second birthday.
Okay, interesting, Allie. Why is that interesting, right? Because we know that one of the places the dog noted was the playhouse in the backyard, and we have to think about the course of events with what the witnesses have stated already, including that neighbor, and how Casey backed in to the garage that one day, right? That one day, and it was unusual. And then the next day asked to use his shovel. And it makes you very curious. Is it possible that Casey was moving Kaylee? Did she move her at some point?
Yeah, for me, the shovel is a huge deal because we're talking about, like, we've talked so many times, the evidence is not much different from Leilani or Megan. But, and there's a lot of people who will say they didn't have enough evidence. When I heard about the shovel, that was a big deal for me. Like, I'm sorry, but just like 2 days later,
Yeah.
you're asking for a shovel. And yeah, hey, Chasing. We were talking about her candles. I did a giveaway for one of them. She has a case file collection.
Yes.
But yeah, Melissa had seen some of the trial, but I hadn't seen any of it. So we are going back through from start to finish and watching it all. But yeah, I'm all over the place. But the candles, dude, they're really cool. At StoneCreekScents.com. Melissa, you should look too.
You could drop the link if you have the link. I just don't have the link.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll drop it in 1 second. So, but proceeds, part of it does go to charity. And every candle comes with a code that will scan like an unknown missing case that needs more attention or something like that, like cases that really could use the eyes on them. So it's really cool.
So cool. And I've heard nothing but good feedback regarding it.
Yeah.
See, that's what I think, Chasing. I think Jose is good. And I understand there's a lot of people who say he's not good. But here's the thing. You have to remember that the jurors are made up of just everyday people. And this is what I really talk about very much going into the trial against Brian Koberger. So the thing is that you can have a lot of circumstantial evidence. You could have a beautiful timeline and you can present it in a way where by the book, it's done properly. It's done correct. But the truth is the jury wants to hear a story. The jury wants you to essentially tell them what happened. And that is what I think happened in this trial and what I'm concerned potentially is going to happen in Brian Koberger's case is that okay, you watch the prosecution come up and they're very mundane, very monotone, not really much inflection in their voice. But Jose comes up and you do not forget Jose. Now, whether or not what he's even saying makes sense, but he says it with confidence. He says it like he means it. He brings out the exhibits, again, opening statements, pulls that tape across. You don't forget it. And it really goes to show you how much that matters when you're dealing with a jury.
Yeah, I mean, huge difference between prosecution. You can hardly even pay attention because there's no exhibits, there's no emotion. That the tone of voice didn't even change really. And then you have Jose who gets up there and he speaks passionately and he has moments of like, you know, that seem like emotion. And then you have all these like all the different things he had up there, the board and like the tape measure thing. And yeah, it's crazy. I think it really makes a big difference. But I will say, I don't think Anne has it like that. When I watch her, I don't get the same, maybe it's just me personally, but I just don't get, like, she can't get me the way that Jose does, if that makes sense. Maybe it's because she doesn't have, like, we've talked so many times, she doesn't have the facts on her side. It's probably very hard to argue like that, argue a case like that, but I don't think Jose did either. And look how he did. So
yeah. It goes it's proof that you never know what's going to happen when you walk into that courtroom and which way the jury is going to lean.
Yeah, or what about that last question that he kept ending with? Like, what was it? Were you there the day that Kaylee drowned in the swimming pool? And
yes, tactics. Yeah. He's putting it out there, so all the jury is, which I'm so mind blown that there was not objections, but every time Jose comes up, and it's very short and sweet after a very long direct from prosecution, and were you there on the day that Kaylee drowned? Now, there is no evidence that shows Kaylee drowned, right? But he is pushing out that narrative with his question. It's the one question he's asking the witness. A lot of the times the witness is answering, no, I wasn't there, whether they're nervous or they don't, as a witness, they don't even understand what's happening so much. But that is what's going to stick with the jurors.
Yep, absolutely. And it did. So
yes.
Apparently.
And thank you, Irina. Thank you so much, hon. Yeah, that a mother would do something like this. But this is why always the guilty parties want to go for Jose Baez. Letitia Stout, I got Jose Baez. Wade Wilson, I'm going for Jose Baez. They're all Jose. Only a guilty person, in my opinion, would want to so quickly go with Jose Baez.
Yeah. The only other name, like attorney, that I feel like I've heard of as much with like the same level of respect for how good they are would be like a Mark Garagos, which, by the way, remember, he was used in that Watts scam, but he's one of Diddy's lawyers. He's one of Diddy's attorneys up there. So I thought that was crazy. But yeah, Jose Baez is definitely one. Letitia, oh my God, he's definitely one the guilty want.
Yep. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, exactly. He was able to and he was able, unfortunately, even against all of the circumstantial evidence that they had, Jose told a story. He told a story, and that resonates with jurors.
Yeah. And Casey being all little in her chair, you know.
She's getting smaller and smaller every day. We haven't seen her yet, even though it is the same day as Tony, but she's getting smaller and smaller, turning more into Liv Tyler from the Lord of the Rings. It is, I'm surprised she hasn't, that Gandalf hasn't walked in yet. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a
I'm
woman
scared
in
for this coming.
say that word. Okay.
And obviously there's a circular item that says pool.
Whoa.
Is that an above ground pool?
Yes.
And the two items that are shed on the left, those are sheds holding different purposes?
The one shed we have are bicycles inside, rafts for the beach. The other one just has some other miscellaneous plant things, things for our pool.
All right. And the patio that's depicted here, is that a enclosed screen patio?
It's an enclosed screen patio.
Cheryl.
All right. So you go out to the shed to start your lawn work. What do you find?
I find that the lock had been broken off of the shed. The right side door was partially open, about 2 or 3 inches.
And what type of shed is this? Is it a wood shed, metal shed, plastic shed?
It's plastic fiberglass. Rubbermaid is the brand of it.
Okay. One of those you can like buy at Home Depot or Lowe's and
yes,
put together. All right. So what kind of lock was on it?
Just a small, like a master key type lock, nothing extravagant at all. I just took one key to open it up.
And was the lock still on it?
Casey lied, Michelle.
Was the lock itself broken, or the sort of the shed latch was broken? What was? Well,
the shed had a 2 eyelet plastic connection that went to it, and I just slid the lock itself between it just to lock it.
Okay, sort of a hole in each door. You stick the lock through the middle.
Yes, sir.
And was the shed part broken, or the lock itself broken?
Just the shed part. Just the plastic eyelet pieces were broken.
All right. So, did you open the shed to see if anything? Pardon me. If anything was missing?
Well, first thing I opened up the shed and looked to the right, I automatically seen the lock itself. The lock was inside of the shed, which I thought was somewhat unusual. And I just did a quick scan and seen the lawnmower was there, other tools and stuff that I'd be using, the blower, the edger, also a generator I have in there. And I looked over to my left where I kept the gas cans up above the ground, and both gas cans were gone.
Now, were any of the actual power tools missing? The lawnmowers, edgers, any of that more expensive
No,
stuff?
they were not, which I found somewhat unusual.
So just the gas cans?
Just the gas cans.
Okay, so what did you do in response to that?
Well, first took a step back and just shook my head and wondered, okay, why just take the gas cans?
Okay.
When there was other things more valuable to me, inside there.
Sure.
I immediately just went and I said, well, I need to make a report on this because, again, this could be conceived as hearsay, but neighbors do talk, and we know that there has been minor thefts, gas taken from vehicles, so on and so forth in the area.
All right.
So I just thought, well, I'll at least call and make a report. If the gas cans are ever found and make a description of them, I'll get them back.
All right. And did you, what agency did you call?
I called the Orange County Sheriff's Department because we're in their jurisdiction.
And approximately what time of the day would this have been?
I'm going to say it was probably close to maybe 10:30 in the morning. And I know within about 10 minutes after making the initial report, I had a deputy show up to my house.
Okay. It's just more than one deputy or just?
Just one deputy came to our front curb area. Very nice gentleman. I explained to him what happened. And he explained that there have been thefts in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Things like that.
Did you make a report, fill out paperwork to make a report of the theft?
I filled out a report, signed it, gave a brief description of what the gas cans looked like. He said, is there a value on them? And I said, probably in the same neighborhood, maybe between gas and the gas cans replacing, maybe $50. I said, could be more, could be a little bit less, but at least that.
And did he, make an extensive investigation, dust for fingerprints, take DNA samples, anything like that?
No, he just said he would make the report. He would go ahead and have it available for me if I want to stop by.
Sustained.
Sustained.
Right.
I love
so,
this judge.
How long was the deputy there?
5-10 minutes. It wasn't a real long report.
And did he leave you some paperwork to document that you had made the report?
Yes.
All right.
Wonder whose exhibit that
So
was.
what did you
we're
do
looking at?
about your plan to do yard work?
It seemed
Well,
like
I sort of had to
layout.
put that on hold because I ended up going out and purchase new gas cans to get the job done.
Did you actually go out and buy new gas cans at that point?
Yes, I went out and bought 2 more plastic gas cans, but I also
Maybe it
went
was
and
just
alerted
Court
my
TV.
next door neighbor, the Bruner residents, who just had moved in just about 3 years prior to that.
That would be Mr. Berner.
Yes,
Brian
was here
Berner.
yesterday.
All right. So, did you get your lawn mowed?
Pardon me,
that
sir?
day? Did you get your lawn mowed that day?
As a matter of fact, I did not get my lawn mowed that day.
Okay. Did there come a point in time up until this point, from June 16th that we talked about previously to this date, June 24th, had you seen your daughter, Casey?
I can't remember seeing Casey come back, to our house at all. I don't remember seeing her from the last time I saw her on the 16th till we made the report.
So on the 24th, did you see your daughter?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Approximately what time was that?
Shortly after 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Now, is that a time where on your normal schedule, you would have been already on your way to work?
Within that 2 to 2:15 time, 2:15 p.m., I would have been leaving for work, yes.
But you were there because of the interview?
Yes, because my interview wasn't until 6 p.m. that evening.
So tell us what led up to your seeing Casey.
I was just inside my living room area. I just had come home after depositing a check with my wife at our local bank, and was just sort of easing into my thought process of what I was going to be doing this interview. It was a great opportunity for me, and just trying to feel at ease for the next couple hours or so.
Sustain.
So you were in your living room?
Yes.
Okay. Just sort of put a little spot on your living room. I guess it's pretty obvious, but
Look at that.
right there. Okay. So you're in your living room. Tell us about what happened next. You're seeing Casey.
Well, after being home just a few moments, I heard the garage door come up. And next thing I know, here's Casey coming in the house.
Now, was your car in the garage?
Yes.
All right. So you hear the door come up, and obviously your car is in there. So are you concerned at all about who's coming in the middle of the afternoon?
I was concerned because I knew it couldn't have been my wife because she'd still been working because I just saw her previously. And
okay. So when you first see Casey, let me just clear this diagram here. When you first saw Casey, where was she?
Not
Just put a little
captivating at
circle
all.
on the diagram.
No.
I first saw Casey just right near the front door area.
And she was coming in from the garage through this. What is that room between the garage and the living room?
Wherever the AC unit is at, if I'm
Right.
pointing right there, we have a little hallway that comes in from the garage.
Is that where she came through?
Yes.
Okay. Were you surprised to see her?
Yes, happy. I mean, I was glad to see my daughter. I haven't seen her for some time, and just
What was her reaction to seeing you?
somewhat of surprise on her part.
Now, pardon me. Tell me did you have a conversation with her?
Yes, I did. I asked her how she was doing, what she's doing there. I asked, where's Kaylee? And she says, Dad, so I only got 10 minutes. I got to get my clothes. I got to take off and go to work. I said, okay.
Gotta go to work.
Then I did ask some a little bit more about her. And
I gotta go to work, Dad. So it's just so crazy now that we've heard her boyfriend at the time and his roommates to know that she was basically alternating schedules between home with her parents. That is an angry frog, Allie.
No, they're just that they get a lot worse than that sometimes.
That's such an aggressive frog. But she was alternating and then with the boyfriend. And so when she would tell Dad and Mom, I'm going to work, she was going to boyfriends. When she told boyfriend, I'm going to work, she's going to Dad and Mom's. It's so manipulative, so crazy that she got away with it. Hey, Linda, just jumped on. Hope I haven't missed too much. Not at all. You're good. And they're just about to switch. thank you so much for the support. I hope everything's going well and you're safe, Linda. But no, it's pretty perfect timing. But again, it's the difference between prosecution and defense. Jose brings you in. He draws you in.
Oh yeah, and this guy, he just doesn't at all. I need a half an hour of nature stream on loop. You guys, it gets so much louder than this sometimes too. But it kind of just is what it is right now. I have to be outside. But
we don't mind.
The process, you're right though, like with the process, with when Jose speaks, you are listening to every word. You know what I mean? When this guy speaks, I'm just kind of like, eh. Plus, I know that we're switching at 10 minutes in to Jose, and I'm looking forward to that. That's literally what I'm thinking. But just for those who don't know, George takes the stand multiple times. We've already heard from him once. It got a little heated at the end of that cross, and then this is the second time, and it's going to be a few more times, right?
Yes. I'm sorry. So people like Yvonne upset me because no shit. Sorry, but Yvonne says Casey will never be charged with her daughter's death. That case is over. Sorry. I'm not going over this with the expectations all of a sudden they're going to try. It's double jeopardy. They can't. Okay. Number one. Number two, this is learning experience 100%. So if you are someone who is interested in true crime cases, specifically the court process, okay, because I know a lot of people fade off once the main show it's no longer there and never follow it through, but it is very helpful to go back and watch trials, especially when it does not go the way that you may have thought it went. So you can learn and try to understand, well, why did the jury go the way that they went in a very seemingly obviously guilty situation? What happened here? So let's go back over the trial to get a better understanding. So, sorry for you, because I don't know why you came in here like acting like I thought it's just it's so weird. But I'm learning something from this, and it's very intriguing to me. And I really have applied this to Brian Koberger because I see a lot of similarities, and I like to know. So going in to a future court hearing, I already am familiar with this.
Yeah, and what could happen. Well, I just think what a dumb comment to make. Like, obviously, nobody thinks she's going to be charged. She cannot be charged. It is what it is. I wanted to know the case. We both wanted to watch the process. Something that what we had been talking about anyways. Then she came back into the media. And yeah, I just think, duh, of course she's not going to be charged. To even say that is kind of like, I don't know. I would have used my comment for something else, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like, sorry. Well, like, sorry. Joke's on you. We're not going over this for that purpose, but all right.
Oh, darn, man. You don't think we'll get her charged again? Oh, Melissa, all right, screw it. Let's end this live.
Double jeopardy exists. Shucks.
Bye, guys. We're just going to end it.
Sustained. Staff rejected. Move along. Natasha's like, I have baths to finish, Yvonne. It is. You learn a lot, Girls Night. You learn a lot. Even if you've watched this specific trial, you learn a lot going back over it. You get familiar with the process. You understand where evidence is allowed to be admitted, evidence is not allowed to be admitted, where the objections come in. You could understand from a juror's perspective of how they're interpreting it now that we know a lot more information, what the juries get to see, what the juries don't get to see. It's very, it's a learning experience.
Yeah. And do you know how many people have told me things about this case, like about the evidence and stuff that were actually wrong, that we've already learned, like, they actually did have this, didn't have this, whatever. There's a lot of misconceptions anyways about what happened here. So
exactly.
It's like, okay, Melissa, we might as well just end this. Yvonne thinks that, we shouldn't be doing this, so let's quit.
I quit. May as well just shut it down now. Good night, guys.
Bye.
Such chicken nuggets. All right, yeah, let's go.
schedule. I asked some of them about Kaylee, where's she at? How I haven't talked to her. We haven't seen her. Has mom been talking to you? And she was a little evasive with me, but again, she said she had 10 minutes. I said, okay.
Did you just assume she was rushing somewhere?
She was rushing to get some clothes to go to work. And I said, okay.
Now, upon seeing Casey and upon what you told us about early in the morning, did you become to suspect that she might know something about these missing gas cans?
I have felt on different occasions that the gas cans or gas has been used without my knowledge from different times. And I was always just wondering, it just doesn't evaporate that quickly, especially when it's a concealed area that I have it in and locked and things like that.
Yes, Marie Joy.
I did ask Casey about it.
Okay.
And she said, Dad, I don't know what you're talking about. And I says, well, it's really wild. As I said, I go to mow the grass this morning and I said, I don't have any gas for the lawnmower and for the edger and stuff. She says, oh, Dad, she says, I don't know what to tell you. I said, okay. And I sort of just let it go for a moment. But then again, I've seen some indication on her car where there were like spill marks and stuff like that whenever.
You talk about in the past?
In the past, yes.
Okay.
And I've seen spill marks on the particular Sunfire she has.
Well, I don't want to go too deep into why you were suspicious. The question, I guess the point was that you thought maybe she had taken the gas.
Yes.
All right. So what did you do in an effort to investigate that?
Well, I just wanted to, I guess, maybe conduct my own little, I'm going to say the word investigation. I just wanted to question her a little bit more about some things. So I decided, well, I was planning on that weekend changing the oil in my wife's car, rotating the tires. I do that stuff at our home. And inside of Casey's car and my wife's vehicle, I have these little metal triangular cylinder, triangular things that you support with your tires with when you jack your car up that the car doesn't move. Well, Casey had one, and I put it back there, so I knew it should be there. And
like something to keep the car from sliding back while you're working on it. Okay.
So I inquired about going out and get it. I said, Casey, I said, I need to get something out of your car. Her conversation to me was, what do you want to get out of the car? I said, that little metal type block, that little triangular block. I said, I need that, again, like I said, to work on her mother's car for the weekend. Dad, I'll get it for you. I said, no, Casey, I know where it's at. I got an extra key. I would just go out and get it.
So you had a key to her car.
Right. We've always kept at least 2 or 3 extra keys for each one of our vehicles in case we get locked out.
So you could have gone out and opened the trunk while she was getting ready or whatever. Okay.
So after just maybe a little bit of back and forth, talk here and there, I mean, it was very cordial, very nice. As I'm starting to walk down our little hallway to go out through the garage because the garage door is open, Casey just brushes past me very quickly, says, Dad, I'll get it. I'll get it out of the car. Says, Casey, I'm capable of going out and get it. So as she almost nearly runs to the back of her car, and I'm walking, just thinking, okay.
Wow.
Here we go. A little funny time here between her and I. As I get towards the end of the car, right at the passenger rear, just where the taillight and stuff is at, Casey opens up the trunk, throws the trunk open, reaches in and grabs the gas cans. She said, I hate to say this, here's your fucking gas cans, and places them down on the ground and slams her.
Wow.
I didn't know what to say at first. And I said, why? She says, I needed them. I've had Dad, I needed them. I've been having problems with the car, so on and so forth. I said, this makes no sense to me. She says, well, I've been taking a trip. She said, I've been needing I run low on fuel. I don't have money or this. And I said, whatever the reason is. I said, I don't want to get upset any more than I already am. I said, you don't need to get upset before I go into work. I says, we'll talk later. So I picked up the gas cans and I went in to where my garage door was and I just set them on our little freezer that we had and just told Casey, I said, listen, we'll talk later. Because I was just, I don't know, I guess the word mortified, I guess.
Good night,
like,
Cole.
I know in the past,
Thank you for the super sticker,
they've
hon.
been missing or used. And now finally, when I caught her with them.
Well, let me
it
stop you
hurt.
because I don't want to go too far into the past. Suffice it to say, you were a little annoyed
Yes,
about this. Okay. As you, you're put the car, her car, was it in your garage or was it on the driveway?
is in a driveway parked about right in the middle of the drive itself.
Now, when she opened the trunk, did you look in the trunk?
Never had a chance to.
Now, when you were standing there at the trunk, did you smell anything unusual?
The only smell that I had was the smell of gas from his gas can. That's the only thing I had at the time.
Okay, that's the only thing you remember?
Yes.
All right. All right, so you got your gas cans back. What did Casey do then?
She abruptly got into her car, backed out of the driveway, and I didn't see her again.
Now, during any of these conversations with Casey, did you mention to her that you had called the police?
I had told her about that I had made a report, and she said, well, yeah, she says, I talked to Mom. Mom knows about it. Just, okay, Mom knows.
You're amazing.
Had you told your wife during the interim hours about the gas cans and the police report and all
Well,
that?
right after I'd made the report with the sheriff's department, I called Cindy briefly, and I just it sort of made her chuckle for a second and made me sort of chuckle. I said, guess what? I said, someone broke into our shed and took our gas cans.
Okay. You said somebody broke in and you told her about the break-in.
Yes, I told Cindy about that, yes.
All right. Now, let me just. Okay, could I have State's Exhibit AJ, please? Now, sir, would you look at State's Exhibit AJ? Let me get rid of the annotation here. Is that one of the gas cans that we've been talking about here?
Yes,
And it's an older metal gas can.
Allie,
yes.
is that
Yes.
is that something sticking in the gas? Now I'm not familiar with gas cans like that, but
I'm not familiar with these kind of gas cans either. They look older because the gas cans, I've used are like the plastic ones. I have no clue.
is there like a hatchet sticking or a pickaxe sticking into it?
Looks like there's something in the top. Maybe somebody in the chat will tell us because I'm not familiar with those either.
I'm sure they'll mention it because that's like very obviously not. I don't think that's supposed to be there. That's a okay. All right, I'm looking at it completely differently. Is that a hose?
Okay. I guess like if you like imagine that being pulled up and sticking straight up, that's when it's like folded down. And that's the part that goes into the hole in your gas tank.
Okay, with a sprout. Everyone's calling it a sprout. Never mind. I thought that was a pickaxe. That probably makes a bit more sense. It's a sprout. It's a sprout.
A spout.
Oh, a spout. A spout. Sorry. This isn't my forte. Okay. All right. A spout. It's a spout. Oh, like I'm a little teapot.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And
Not a
and
pickaxe.
a sprout is like when a little leaf pops up out of the ground, like a little.
Or a potato sprouts.
Yeah, like that's when
Yeah.
it starts.
I have no idea. All right. Good to know. It's just dirty. So it's giving the illusion of wood. Oh,
But
God.
dude, the fact, like, since you paused anyways, let's just talk about, like, why did she rush him, like, back to the car like that? That's weird.
She didn't want him seeing something.
Or smelling something. But I will say, I wouldn't imagine that gas is really strong. So, of course, you would smell gas. You probably wouldn't think anything else.
Right.
Like, it might overpower it if there was a smell.
Jeez. Screws in the opening. Okay. Got it.
Or Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, or Brussels sprouts. That's true.
How long have you had it?
25 years at least that I've had it for quite some time.
Now, In this photograph, it has a piece of duct tape over over a portion of it. Do you see that?
Yes.
Now, was it your habit to place a piece of duct tape on this can for some reason?
The only reason that piece of duct tape is on there is because the plastic cap, it's a vent cap that is generally on any type of gas can or something like that to vent when you're pouring it out, was gone. When Casey brought those back to me, brought this one and the other smaller one back to me, it was gone. So I did place that particular one back on there because I didn't want a gas smell out in the shed or inside the house.
All right. May I have State's AK?
Allie,
Yeah.
this is still 21 minutes in. So when I dragged my finger across this, it did not give me, I saw Jose here, but I'm realizing I was clearly, I don't know.
I was thinking about that a second ago. I was like, I wonder, maybe it just wasn't loading correctly for you and we're close. I don't know. I guess we'll just, now it's a
Yeah.
surprise how long it lasts.
Yeah, I'll roll with it.
Yeah.
And you see State's Exhibit AK, which is being shown to you. It's a photograph taken at a later time, obviously, but is that the other gas can we're talking about?
Yes, it is.
See, that's more normal looking.
Yeah.
Could I have a State's Exhibit? Let's see.
Right,
Yeah, State's Exhibit D, please. Looking at State's Exhibit D, do you recognize this as a photograph? Do you recognize what this is a photograph of?
That is our Pontiac Sunfire.
Now, when you say ours, clarify its legal ownership for us for a moment.
The Pontiac Sunfire is in my name and my wife's name. We have title to the vehicle.
And at the particular time that we're speaking of, which is June 24th, whose car was this as far as use and possession?
Was Casey's car.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
There we go.
Judge, we would request the morning recess at this time. That's possible.
Okay.
Look how
We
small.
will take a
Yeah.
15-minute recess at this time to 10 minutes past the hour.
I just want to fix her eyebrow. I want to lick my
You
thumb.
testified under direct examination that you knew Casey would take gas from the gas cans.
I had suspected that in the past, yes.
Oh, here we go,
And
Melissa.
you had actually caught her and confronted her about it previously.
We had a discussion about it, yes.
And in fact, you told her, if you need gas, I'll give you $10 for it. Don't take gas from my gas cans.
Yes.
And it would upset you that Casey would take gas from the gas cans prior to this ever happening.
Yes.
Now, on June 24th, you haven't seen your granddaughter for 9 days.
Yes.
And you lived with her all your life, all her life, rather.
Yes.
Never went 24 hours without seeing her.
That, yes.
And on June 24th,
Oh, is he looking at her? Oh, look at that smirk.
Mm.
Okay, let's go off the record for a second and see what's going on.
Oh, snap. What's going on?
Huh.
Oh, damn.
thank you, Your Honor.
Well, we'll never know.
Off the
Mr.
record.
Anthony,
Yeah.
you stated the last time you saw your granddaughter was on June 16th, correct?
Correct.
And on June 24th, you called the police.
Yes.
And you called the police to report gas cans missing.
Yes.
Not your granddaughter missing.
Correct.
Unfair
Is that a yes, sir?
question.
My granddaughter was not missing at that time.
Exactly.
My question to you is, not your granddaughter missing. Is that correct?
Overruled.
My granddaughter was not missing at that time.
I didn't
to my
ask you
knowledge.
that, sir. I asked you whether you didn't call the police to report your granddaughter was missing on June 24th. Did you, sir?
Oh
I didn't
my
call
God.
about my granddaughter being missing on the 24th of June.
So
I
the
called
answer
a
is-
reference to a gas cans being taken from my shed.
So the answer is yes.
Yes.
Now, when you had the police officer there and you were talking about these gas cans, did you tell this police officer, my granddaughter's missing?
No.
Did you tell him, my daughter has been basically not telling me the truth as to where she is?
Objection, argumentative, assumes facts that are not in evidence.
Overruled at this point, Mr. Ashton.
Did you tell that to the deputy when he arrived?
No.
Did you tell the deputy, even though I'm reporting these gas cans missing, my daughter has been taking gas in the past?
No.
Did you tell the police officer, I even confronted my daughter about taking gas in the past?
No.
Did you call your daughter and ask her, hey, did you take gas?
No.
You didn't do any of those things.
Did not.
Instead, you picked up the phone and called the police.
Yes.
Now, this alleged argument that you had with her, you stated that she basically came in, was in a hurry,
Yes.
and she told you she had to go to work.
Yes.
And you told her you needed to get something out of her trunk.
Yes.
And she didn't want you near her trunk.
Yes.
And she opened the trunk.
Yes.
And you didn't smell anything.
Yes. Didn't smell anything.
And you said, I hate to say this. Here's your fucking gas cans. You said that, right?
That's what she said to me.
But that's what you testified to.
Yes.
Now, when she gave you these gas cans, they did not have any duct tape on it, did they?
Had no duct tape whatsoever.
And before that, actually, you could see in her trunk, could you not?
I could not.
I'd like to refer counsel to Bates, page 7921.
Melissa,
Yes.
sometimes it's like he's making points about stuff there's no point to be made, but it's just the way he asks it. Like,
Yes.
for instance, did you report her missing? Or like what he just asked just there, was there tape on it? Like, I don't know. It's like you're trying to make points that really there's no point to be made there, but the way that you do it puts off a certain image. Yeah.
Mhm. And
Crazy.
it elicits the response from the witness because in reality, and this is, you're supposed to answer very short and sweet as a witness, but let's be real.
Yeah.
When you have an emotional witness, like you would have with George, you're not going to get that naturally. But when he's asking it in a way, did you report Kaylee missing, right? Of course, George is going to want to say she wasn't missing. There was no reason, because you want to give context, but you're not allowed to give context.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. It's just the way he's asking, because by George saying, no, I didn't, makes you feel like, well, you should have. Why didn't you? And so you just want to overcompensate because it's like, well, no, I didn't, but here's the reason why. And he won't let you go into that territory.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it's for the jury who doesn't know all the backstory and things like that. It's probably even more impactful. You know, now we know, and they know some that she wasn't. They didn't even know she was missing yet, and all of that. But at the time, just short and sweet little like it's just like little hits. You know, that are I think they make a difference.
Absolutely, they make a major difference. Poor George, man.
Yeah.
Could I have a date statement? July 30th.
Oh, sorry.
Remind you one more time, when you speak, speak into a microphone. Walking around and talking, the court reporter cannot hear you. So if you're not at the podium, you're not with a microphone on, do not speak.
What happens to
You may
Smith?
continue.
Yes, sir. Mr. Anthony, do you recall giving a statement to the FBI on July 30th, 2008?
Hey,
I
Harley.
don't remember the exact date, but I talked to the FBI and
You
numerous
talked to
times.
an agent, Scott Boland. Do you remember speaking to Agent
I remember who Scott Boland is, yes.
And do you recall that they videotaped you?
I'm sure we were videotaped numerous times, yes.
And page 44, line 21 and 22. Yes, sir.
Medusa.
May proceed.
When Agent Scott, do you recall Agent Scott Bowling saying, okay, when she popped the trunk, were you back at the back of the car? And you answered, yeah, there was definitely, I could see clothes back there. Do you recall making that statement, sir?
I don't recall making that statement, but presumably, I guess I did if it's written down there in written word.
So your testimony under direct examination that you couldn't see what was in the trunk of the car was not true, sir.
Objection.
Overruled.
You may answer.
I don't recall exactly if I saw clothes in their car or not. I was at the car when Casey pulled the gas cans out.
You know that the trunk of this car is an issue in this case, do you not, sir?
Absolutely, I know that.
And you know, by coming and testifying for the prosecution, that you couldn't see in the trunk of the car would give the impression that you weren't close enough to smell it.
Objection.
Don't you, sir?
Argumentative.
Sustain this to that question.
If you testified, sir, under direct that, well, strike that. Mr. Anthony, you actually were close enough to smell the trunk of that car, were you not?
The only smell that I had was the smell of gas cans when they're placed on the ground in front of me.
And you did not smell any smell of human decomposition on June 24th of 2008 in the trunk of your daughter's car?
Did not.
See, and there you go again, Allie, with the way that it's asked, right? And that's a tactic. Really, in reality, he's not proving necessarily a point, right? There's nothing bad as far as, no, I didn't smell an odor on that day, but it's the way it's being asked, and it's framed in a way that as the witness, you feel like, well, crap, you know, like, but it's very interesting because we know as humans and the way our brain works, right? And the jury, that point, is it getting across to them? Are they like walking away from this witness thinking, well, crap, he didn't smell anything. So it doesn't matter with the massive amount of circumstantial evidence being presented by the state, just the way a defense lawyer is able to proposition the questions to the witness could be almost as impactful as the black and white circumstantial evidence, which is nuts.
It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's even made a point here or there for me. And I don't believe like Jose's version of events at all. But even just the way he asked, well, okay, on this date you said that the trunk there were definitely clothes in there, but now are you just trying, this is a big deal, the trunk's a big deal, you trying to make it seem like I don't know, it was just.
Well, and I don't like the way where, because you didn't smell anything on this day, despite the evasive measures Casey may have taken, because you didn't state that Kaylee was missing when you called to report Casey missing, right? This is somehow on you. You did, it's like, what? Wait, how is he on the stand almost being interrogated and pointing the finger at him? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't, but personally, and I know everyone has different opinions and that's okay, but I personally don't believe George is guilty of anything as far as what Casey put out in the Peacock series and what happened at this trial. Now, is every family perfect? No. Do I think he absolutely had the affair? Yes, but as far as the horrible allegations that were made against him regarding Casey and Kaylee, I do not personally believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe it either, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm kind of at a loss for words because I'm shocked that he's even made a few points with me. It does make George look a bit dishonest, and it's unfortunate. He shouldn't be the one that's being interrogated. And look, 9 days in, she could have been in the yard, hence the shovel. There's really no point to be made, but like we were saying, he makes a point even when there is none,
Exactly, yes. Hi, Tracy.
Now, you just testified that when Casey gave you the gas cans, it did not have duct tape on it, correct?
Which one are you talking about, sir? There's two of them.
When she said, here's your fucking gas cans, it did not have duct tape on it.
Which one are you referring to?
Neither. Neither one of the gas cans had duct tape on it.
Again, you're not being specific with me. I'm not trying to be argumentative, sir. You're not being specific with me.
Can you see on your screen?
Yes.
That gas can.
Yes, sir. And if you would describe that as being one was a cylinder shape,
right,
I would agree with you. We wouldn't have had this.
Okay.
Moment.
Is that clear enough for you?
Yes, sir.
That did not have duct tape on it, did it not?
When my daughter gave it back to me that day on the 24th outside in our our driveway area, it did not have a piece of duct tape on it.
And we're clear about that?
Yes.
Crystal clear.
Objection. Argument.
Oh my God.
Now, Mr. Anthony, this photograph.
Let me jump back for a second. Oof. Oops.
His tone is so rude.
Yes, it is.
Area, it did not have a piece of duct tape on it.
And we're clear about that?
Yes.
Crystal clear.
Objection. Argumentative asked and
Sustained.
It is sustained. I love the way that the judge says sustained. But it is argumentative. It is asked and answered. And he, for no reason, well, for the reason that I'm going to assume is about to happen, is he knows he's able to show differently, right? Whether even if it's an innocent oversight or not, but he's going to hone in on, are you absolute crystal clear?
Yeah.
It was argumentative. He asked and answered it, but he's setting it up to where, well, I'm going to prove that's not the case.
Yeah. Damn, man. I feel bad for George in this moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, Mr. Anthony, this photograph was taken by law enforcement, was it not?
Yes.
Okay. Now, she gave this gas can back to you on the 24th. Right?
Yes.
Now, the reason you call the police is because you had to mow your lawn
Yes.
and there was no gas.
Yes.
And between the 24th of June and August 1st, you had to cut your grass.
Probably did.
In fact, you're pretty religious about it. You cut your grass every week.
Could. Not every week, every other week, every 10 days. It just depends.
Referring to deposition, Mr. Anthony's deposition. Oh, August 5th, 2009, counsel. Okay. Page 199, lines 14 through 17. Mr. Anthony, do you recall making this?
John, if I may just
Yes.
a moment, look at it.
Sure.
Just a second.
Who cares about the grass getting cut? This ain't about cutting grass. I mean, shit like that. If he said I mow it every week versus every 10 days, maybe sometimes he means to do it every week and doesn't get to
Page
it.
Just a
It's just,
second. What,
Exactly. And the truth is, maybe there are some people who consistently cuts the grass every Monday at 3 p.m., but it really does vary depending on when the hell you had time, depending on the
Yeah.
weather, depending on plans, depending on your wife saying, that grass is overgrown, get at it.
yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah,
But it's the
exactly.
way he asks it to where you feel like, oh, why do I feel guilty as if I didn't cut the grass when I was supposed to cut the grass?
Yep, exactly.
page?
Page 199.
Line what?
Lines 12 through 17.
Just a second. Okay,
Mr. Anthony,
what's the objection?
It does not qualify as an inconsistent statement.
The suspense building, like, come on.
12
That's
through
another
17?
aspect.
yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the jury feels it.
Okay, let's approach the bench.
Ooh, he's about to call him out on a lie. You know what I mean? That kind of,
Yeah.
what is it?
Aw, man. I hate that we don't get to see the sidebars and stuff.
I know.
They're sticklers on that grass mowing. Oh, yeah, they can be for sure.
You may proceed.
Mr. Anthony, you try to mow your lawn every week or at least every 10 days, do you not?
Yes.
And in fact, during that time period from June 24th to August 1st, you did mow your lawn.
I'll have to maybe agree or not agree with that. I'm not really sure. I don't write that stuff down on the calendar.
How many days is from, now on June 24th, your lawn needed mowing, did it not?
Yes.
And that's why you were out looking for the gas cans. That's something funny, sir.
Your question is sort of funny to me. I mean, to have my mower run, it has to run on gas. So I'm just sort of just chuckling in the moment about that. But yes, I'll agree. Yes, I mowed the grass. I wanted to mow the grass that day. I didn't have fuel for the lawnmower to mow it with.
So you mowed your lawn. Obviously the grass was high. on June 24th, enough to need mowing.
Yes.
And between June 24th and August 1st, that's 6-7 weeks, right?
No, sir. It's only a few days.
You forget the month of July?
No, starting it from month of July. You said weeks, sir, and first you brought it up to August 1st. It's a month, maybe 5 weeks. I'm sure I cut the yard sometime in July, end of June.
May I ask the witness to stand down, Your Honor?
Witness may stand down. Okay. Make sure there's a break between the question and the answer, and make sure that the answer.
Oh,
The
I gotta give it to Jose, even pulling out the big old calendar. I'm sorry, it's a visual. It's a visual. It's something that the overhead projector can't do. It's
Yes.
facing right in front of the jury. You guys have to realize the jury is right to the right, looking at Jose. And so you're pulling out that jumbo. He's coming prepared, Allie. His demonstrative aids are on point. I'm a
Yes.
visual person. That really helps me if I was in the, if I was in the courtroom. And so to even just kind of point each day and do the count, again, my heart's breaking for George, but as a juror, this is
Yep.
what I'm going to remember this versus the monotone prosecution, no offense, but you kind of fade out, especially if it's just one consistent,
Yes.
no matter what you're saying, at a certain point you kind of zone out. But I'm not going to remember. You just put this jumbo calendar right in front of me. I guarantee I'm going to remember it.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Like for me too. If even just think about like on YouTube, the difference versus somebody telling you about a case versus somebody getting out and showing you on maps, then showing you this, showing you pictures. Like the visual aids are everything. And like I'm torn because I'm the same as you. I'm very frustrated for George, but Jose is like 10 times better of an attorney than this prosecutor. Like it's easy for him. This is like, I don't know. He just makes it look easy,
Exactly. Yeah.
with a little smirk on his face.
Mm-hmm. And exactly, Pam, Jose knows how to keep control of the jury and the courtroom. He is the alpha in the courtroom, not because of any evidence, but because his presence, that's what his presence is. It's the alpha. And that's why I said with Ann Taylor, even though she's been trickling and not so alpha recently, but I do have concerns that I'm going to see something similar in the trial against Brian Koberger, where it's not so much about the evidence versus Anne is going to have a powerful presence in that courtroom. And we know it does matter to the jurors.
Crazy to watch.
court reporter can hear it. Please face the court reporter when
They're
we're
going
talking.
face to face. Look at George strolling up.
Just step to the side so that I can see what's
So you can see.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. Like imagine the adrenaline, because I have it now. Like in the room at the time.
That you last saw Kate.
Yes. Can you mark the calendar when you mow the lawn?
Can you please mark the day you needed to cut your grass?
When you needed to cut your grass. Oh my Lord.
And then can you please put police report on the 24th, the same day?
Wow. No wonder Letitia wanted him and Wade,
Can you please mark the date you informed law enforcement of this gas can incident with your daughter?
Your Honor, counsel has placed the July over the June, so we can't mark the June date because the July is up.
Mm.
Oh, it's already been marked.
I apologize, maybe I'm missing the question. The question was the date you informed law enforcement, which was, he just testified was in June.
After your daughter, can you put down the date your daughter, I'm sorry, your granddaughter was reported missing?
He's gonna count. He's gonna count, Allie.
Mm.
Can you put down
He
the
has
date
great
you told
handwriting.
law enforcement about this argument you had with Casey over the trunk and the gas cans?
I don't know when I had given that information.
Did they confiscate the gas cans immediately after you told them?
You have to come up with the dates, sir. I have no idea.
On August 1st, 2008, did law enforcement collect gas cans from your home?
If I might look at that photo, I can probably give you a
Yes, go
better
ahead.
idea.
Yes, sir. That refreshes your recollection. Go ahead.
Do you think George is an alpha, like in his regular day to
That's the
day?
gas can on August 1st.
And on August, did you go with law enforcement to your home to collect the gas cans?
A second time I did on another particular date. I'm not sure when that was.
When you told law enforcement of this argument, when was that?
I have no idea. I have no idea when we first discussed that. I don't have it. I'm not a human calendar. I don't have anything in front of me to show me. You might have that information, or the state might. I'm not trying to be argumentative, sir, but you're throwing stuff all over the place.
On August 1st, July 30th, did you tell the FBI when you met with them about this incident with your daughter?
That's a possibility. I don't have the records in front of me. I don't have any indication of what I said at those different times.
Okay, I'll take that. You have a seat. I'll get you that.
All right, you want me to pause it there, Allie, because it's at the halfway.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. It's up to you. I'm like so into it.
I know, but it hit the 42, and I was like, "Oh shit, is this the this is the halfway?" And I don't want to go into tomorrow night's. But the tension, honestly, I would be nervous even going down. And you guys have to remember, it's taking us a while to get through this trial. But in relation to when the trial started, this is what, day like 3? I don't know. And so it was only 3 days ago that in front of this whole courtroom, Jose accused George of doing the most heinous thing. So just to even be face to face, I'm sure the tension was so overwhelming.
Oh my God, I can only imagine, because I have so much adrenaline just watching. Like, imagine being in person and then being these actual people. But I had to ask, I don't think you heard me, but the chat heard me. Do you think in George's regular day-to-day life, he is an alpha? And here, we'll make it 2 parts, because I think home life versus like work life, because a lot of the chat was kind of mixed. Many of them said no. I kind of think his stance looks like an alpha type of stance, like when he's standing there, just his body language in a way. But then again, I definitely see like Cindy running the show. So what do you think?
I think behind every strong man is a very strong wife at home who runs the household, and the man, but this is, again, my old school mentality coming in. The man is alpha on a day-to-day basis out there with his job, with his career, with everything, everyone else. But at home, the woman is, the alpha. But what was your overall question? Ask me again.
Just, do you think George is the alpha in his day-to-day life versus at work? Because like a lot of people, I was thinking yes, and then people were like, no, Cindy runs the house. So they kind of had me like, well, that's true. I could see that. Now, just
Both
like,
can be true.
That's true. Because yeah, as he stands there up against Jose, who obviously has like this air about him, I think George still looks just as like strong and confident too, in a way. You know what I mean? Like I said, his stance is just like a strong stance, in my opinion. But I don't know.
He does have a strong stance. You're right. And he's trained, so it helps with his overall demeanor. But yes, I think he was an alpha in his day-to-day life, in his career. But I don't know. Jose gives me a little bit of, I don't want to say King Henry energy, like Napoleon energy, to where not real alpha. If anything, George strikes me as more real alpha, where you don't have to try to be an alpha and you're able to show your vulnerability, like how he spoke about Kaylee and what her favorite things to do, and the tears would come to his eyes. That's real alpha to me. Right. Jose just takes me as trying to be alpha, but really he probably likes, I'm not going to say, but you could imagine what I'm going to say.
Like it's performative. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yes. I truly don't think he was an alpha in any way. Well, I think in his day-to-day, like I was just saying to Allie, as far as his career, when he went out in the world, yeah, absolutely he was. But when he got back home, I think Cindy ran that house. And I think he was okay with that. I think that was a choice, though, right? Because they had a relationship that worked. I'm not judging that. But I don't know. My heart breaks for them. I really do. And I see what Autumn, I remember your comment to me. Now, I don't specifically remember what it was. What was it, Allie? Do I have an issue with Autumn or not? I don't remember. I know we read a comment from Autumn.
I can't remember.
You remember? I read like a long, crazy comment from her on this live, and I don't remember if I have an issue with you or not.
I don't remember the comment.
It was, Natasha remembers. Okay, hold on. Let me ask Natasha. Natasha, do I have an issue with her? Tell her I'm not fair. Let me see. I don't know. Where's Natasha's comment? Okay, and see, I've seen a lot of people say this, though. Yes, that's what it was, Nancy. You slipped up. You slipped up and you said, my neighbor. And I caught it and I called you out. And in that long, incoherent rambling of a comment, you switched it to the neighbor. And you never said anything again until you stroll on in here tonight with your friend.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, you're allowed to come. I'm not saying you're not here. I remember what it was. Why did you say my neighbor and then switch it to the neighbor?
Yep.
Yes, you're right. And you believe Casey tried to resuscitate Kaylee with no, which that's your opinion. That's okay, but I'm sorry. People say, wow, they never were able to show, Casey didn't have a job or this. Listen, I know not everyone's going to understand that, but I have seen it firsthand before. When you are dealing with, especially when it's the dynamics of maybe a very young mom where the parents are still raising their child, but now their child is raising a child, and you're dealing with those dynamics. Casey was coming and going as she pleased. She always lied. Now, when you are dealing with someone who lies on that level, it's not fair to put the expectations where in normal circumstances, well, hey, you didn't do this or that. At a certain point, when you're dealing with maybe a relative or someone who lies to that level, you have to accept you're not going to get the truth even if you ask. So it's obvious they've asked. It's obvious they were suspicious. But at that point, what are you supposed to do? At the same time, you have to pull back a little bit because she is Kaylee's mom. Okay. And when they did figure out something is desperately wrong, what did they do? Okay. We've heard the witnesses on the stand about Cindy calling Casey and flipping out until she eventually went right to it, dragged her out, and threatened to put her ass in jail for the stolen checks if she didn't tell her where Kaylee is. So I think it's really unfair just to put that expectation within a day. They're supposed to step in and automatically know something's wrong, because that's taking away the accountability of Casey, the guilty party, in my opinion here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I remember now, because the comments, like you said, it said my neighbor, made it seem like it was someone involved, had all this in-depth. It was a very in-depth comment.
It's a very in-depth comment.
I cannot believe I didn't remember that. And you're like, do I have an issue? I'm like, I
saw the comment,
pictures.
and the comment stood out to me specifically. And then I saw the name and I'm like, I remember that name. I just don't remember the context of what the issue was, but now I do.
And the picture, do you remember? It's like some old picture.
Yes.
Yeah. But Autumn Fragrance, listen, we don't want to run you off. If you are,
Yeah, you're allowed to come.
Especially if this is your neighbor, hey, speak up. Like we don't know which neighbor, but you are, tell us about it. You know what I mean?
Listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion as long as you communicate it respectfully. That's all I ask. But if you say something silly, just don't expect me not to debate you on it. That's all.
Yeah.
No, Lisa, it makes no sense whatsoever. And Casey's current narrative in the Peacock series even changes from trial. All right. Which I guess in one sense, I could entertain trial. You really, as the defendant, you're giving, and we saw this with Sarah Boone, you're giving the defense attorney really the power. You get to choose whether you're going to go guilty or not guilty. You get to choose if you're going to testify on your own behalf. But other than that, the defense attorney really gets to take reins with which direction they're going, and to an extent. But Casey's narrative for the Peacock series nowhere aligns with what they stated at trial at all.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense in anyways. And then, like the chat was saying, why would you hide a drowning anyways in Florida? They're very common in Florida. But if you were truly innocent and you were out to help, people get justice, wouldn't you be at least speaking out? Like, well, I don't know. I just don't understand how you wouldn't try to get someone else who would be responsible for obviously duct taping her mouth and all that stuff. Like, let's say it wasn't, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense.
No. And, again, if that was the case, why did you have to hide that? Or if you're going with the Peacock narrative, because you have to remember, she genuinely believed Kaylee was still alive that whole time while she partied and she did all of this stuff and got her tattoo. She believed Kaylee was alive the whole time. So ask yourself, apply Casey's current narrative and say, do you see the actions of a mother who truly believed her daughter was still alive and her dad was going to bring her back? No, that's like when Letitia said she believed that she could bring her back alive.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
So we're going to watch the second half of this, and it's at a very high tension moment tomorrow night on Allie's channel. We will be live a little bit later. I don't know exactly what time yet, but let's say around 9 Eastern. But I'm really excited to see what the second half is going to have. And this is, I think he's called up 4 more times or something, but I'm really looking forward to Cindy taking the stand, because I remember specifically with the Google, I don't know if it was a Google search, but it was a search on the computer. And it's interesting seeing trial a little bit back in the day when it was a family shared computer and you each had your username to log on to. You had the admin and you had your profile and mom's profile. It's very interesting to see it in the courtroom.
Yeah, I can't wait I'm glad we're doing it one day after. But do you remember the first time that George took the stand? He started at the end of his testimony asking questions about it made us both what? I can't remember what it was. Accusations that Casey had made on him or something, that it was, oh no, that was the end of Tony's. Remember, did Casey ever tell you about her dad abusing her? And he was like, yeah, the answer was yeah, but then it was kept till later, blah, blah, blah. We'll hear more about it later, I guess. But
and it's all on how Jose asks it, man.
Yeah. I'm just curious how this is going to go and how's he going to end it. I'm sure it's going to end in some screwed off question and we'll have to wait.
But don't forget, defense could call George as their witness and they won't have to stay within the scope at that point.
Yeah. I wonder if they do that because we know he goes up so many more times. It's kind of weird how they're doing it.
It is, but I'm just very eager to see, because again, I like to see, hey, everyone pretty much unanimously agrees she's guilty. So what happened during this trial that things went differently for the jurors?
Yep. And we know Cindy and Tony go multiple times too. So it's going to be crazy watching it all unfold.
Yes.
It's a unique trial, but yeah, thank you for doing it with me, Melissa, and I can't wait for tomorrow.
Me too. We'll see you guys tonight over on Allie's. Thank you, Allie. Thank you for your background noise, and I'm very excited to finish George on the stand for the second time tomorrow night. So make sure you guys are subscribed to Allie, and we will see you guys all there tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you,
guys. Yeah.
Bye.
Good night, frogs. Good night, guys.